E-Series data. Beginning search. Accessing data. Hot shelter. E-Series location confirmed. Unlocking hot shelter sector now.
Aloha everybody, welcome to part 27 of the Sonic Adventure playthrough, the last part of Gamma's playthrough, which is the last playthrough in the game. So I think this is the final video of the whole adventure! That song that played during the cutscene is actually called Egg Carrier, in brackets, the ocean in the sound test. And it's right next to just plain old Egg Carrier, which we're listening to right now. I thought it was always my suspicion that the song in the cutscene was supposed to play during the overworld ocean egg carrier area, but I guess not. Anywho, there's a second upgrade.
Here's your laser blaster. Its blast damages enemies in a wide pattern.
Basically, that means you can lock on to a group of enemies, and even certain enemies who you didn't lock onto, but are right next to the enemies you did lock onto, will get blasted as well. It's basically a spread kind of laser that can really deal out a lot of damage. However, if you didn't lock on an enemy, it still doesn't count as adding seconds to your timer. This actually applies to a certain playstyle in Sonic Adventure 2 that is very similar to Gamma's as well, but, you know. Either way, we're at the final level of Gamma, Hot Shelter, and it is easily the longest of Gamma's levels, and this is the only level I think you have the threat of actually dying by lack of timer. I say threat of death, but honestly, I don't think I have died in this in a long, long time. In fact, I can't even remember if I did die at this level, but I remember I got really close one time. I was fighting E105 Zeta, and I almost died because the timer went out. That's what I remember. The only reason I say that is because, again, right now it's counting down. We have 2 minutes and 21 seconds to live. Unless we're homing in on Badniks, that timer will not increase. And there's a lot of platforming. You know, just that whole elevator button thing we just did. There's going to be a train section coming up. I mean, there's a lot to this level. So basically, there's a lot of Badnik monkeys lying around. I think they're coconuts, or they could be a different name because this is not like the classic Genesis games. Like, do you know how many names for the Orbinaut Badnik there are? Like, I looked up Orbinaut on the Sonic Wiki, and he appears to be in every classic Genesis game, but like, he's only known as Orbinaut in the original Sonic. In like Sonic 2, he was like Spike Ball thing, or he's even in Sonic Adventure, or is it Sonic Adventure 2? No, it was Sonic Adventure 2. He's in Sonic Adventure 2, but he's not known as Orbinaut in that game, and there's too many goddamn names. So whether it's Coconuts or Monkey Bot, I don't know what the fuck his name is. Some people in the comments are sure to tell me. But, either way, this is really cool. I really love how Hot Shelter has so many different layers to every level that the other characters don't see. This is why a game like Sonic 06 was such a piece of shit, because you went through 3 different playthroughs of the same level. There were minor differences, but you were going through the same shit every time you played that game. Whereas Sonic Adventure, you're always in for a new experience no matter what playthrough you're playing. Amy didn't go on the train, Big didn't go on the train, and yet here we are. Hell, Sonic didn't even come to Hot Shelter, you know? There's always something different going on at Sonic Adventure. You're never bored. Now, I'm not saying, like, every character doing the same thing is always a bad thing, but if the game sucks, it certainly is a bad thing. If the game is good, you won't notice, like Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Yeah, Tails and Knuckles go through pretty much the same levels. Like, I mean, Knuckles has his minor differences, but you do have the same playthrough. And it doesn't matter to me because Sonic 3 and Knuckles is fucking fun to play. More multiple characters and more replayability is all right in my book. It's also why a future game, Sonic Heroes, also gets an A-OK on my book too, because I like that game. It's fun to play. And I don't really care that every playthrough is pretty much the same, minus some difficulty snafus here and there. Anyway, there's lots of monkeys at these railings. You can use the hover to slow down and You can get a lot of time falling down that section. But folks, we're coming up to the E105 Zeta, the E-Series boss of this level. And, oh shit, he got modified with Sega Dreamcasts. No, seriously, he has Sega Dreamcasts in between his purple parts. Which is fun. But anywho, he has turrets, which he's shooting cannons with. He's shooting lasers with. The floor is moving in a circular pattern. You just sort of follow the floor, keep aiming at every single turret on his body until his head pops off, and that is the end of E105 Zeta. Booyah! Well, folks, we only got one E-Series robot left, and he's a familiar bastard that we've beat before. But with no idea where to look for him, let's just get out of the egg carrier, why not? That room with the glowing buttons, that's an egg... Well, I'll talk about that later in an extra video.
E105 Zeta rescue complete. Units remaining. Gamma. Beta.
Yeah, every character except for Sonic and Tails, their final battle is always on the egg carrier engine. Not sure how that works. But anywho, folks, we're taking on E101 Mark II. Beta will not be killed by just constantly shooting the shoot button this time. He actually has a force field blocking the front of him. When he does a giant charge at you, you actually get out of the way and then you shoot him in the back while he passes you. The more you damage him, the more the fight gets continuously harder because he keeps pulling out new tactics like homing missiles and giant explosion lasers, which he shoots at you later. And again, the only thing you have to look out for is when he has this rainbow-colored force field on his front, and that's when he's charging at you. You dodge out of the way, and when he's taking a break after that, you shoot him in the back, and that's how you damage Beta Mark II. And I love this boss theme, by the way. The Beta Mark II boss theme is another one of my favorite boss themes in the game. Sonic Adventure's soundtrack is just flawless, what can I say? There's like hardly any tracks I don't like. Most of them are pretty epic, pretty awesome. Even though I don't even like Amy Rose's My Sweet Passion theme song, oh yeah, the instruments in it are great. If it didn't have lyrics, it might have been a good song, in my opinion. But 5 hits, or is it 4? I can never tell. And Beta Mark II, even advanced you cannot defeat Gamma! Dr. Eggman would be so proud. Well, except for the fact that I'm destroying all of his robots. Long live the Eggman Empire. Long live the Eggman Empire. And that, folks, is E102 Gamma's playthrough. A lot of people find the ending very sad, but I don't understand how it's sad, because in my opinion, it's a happy ending. Gamma, first off, the revelation that Beta and Gamma were the pink and gray birds in Amy's storyline. They were the blue Flickies family. So it's so much more satisfying playing Amy Rose's playthrough first, because then you see how those birds came to be on the egg carrier. So we understand that Amy will come later to fight Zero here, and the bird family will be reunited, and it all will be well, right? So that's happy. I mean, Gamma, in a sense, people seem to think he dies and he sacrifices himself, but he really doesn't. You gotta remember, folks, Gamma was not born Gamma. He was born a pink Flicky. Or I guess it could be a she. I mean, it's implied those three birds were family, and that maybe the blue one was the child of the gray and the pink one. And, you know, most cartoony logic would dictate that the pink bird is the girl. But hey, the gray one could be the girl. Maybe Gamma's a guy, just pink. But regardless, back to my topic. Gamma was not born a robot. He was born a pink Flicky. Dr. Eggman... This really shows how sinister a villain he really is and how evil and detached from humanity he can be. The thing I always found scary about Dr. Robotnik in the old Sat AM cartoon was that he would take Sonic's friends, he would make them all metal and robotic and brainwash them, and they didn't know who they were. All they knew was that they had to spread the evil of Eggman. They had to spread the evil of Robotnik and conquer the land for him. And they didn't have any emotions, they didn't have any soul, they didn't have any feelings. And they essentially lost their humanity. And roboticization in the Sat AM cartoon, or in the comics really, was the worst fate a character could get. If a character was roboticized, you legitimately thought they were fucked for good, because there was no way you could unroboticize somebody. Now, of course, in the Sega video games which we're playing, saving an animal is as simple as destroying their metal shell. Like every time in the old Genesis games, all you had to do is jump on a Motobug and the animal would pop out flying away. Like, yay, thanks, Sonic. But I just love the whole perspective of the storyline in this game. That, you know, Gamma was a pink bird, had its memory erased, didn't know who it was, just knew he was Gamma, and he had to serve Dr. Eggman. But thanks to Amy Rose and the blue Flicky in the jail cell, he got glimpses of his past, he got glimpses of his family, and his love for his Flicky family brought him back to humanity and helped him rebel against Dr. Eggman. And it's actually a really deep, engaging storyline with hardly any dialogue, and most of our dialogue coming from a robot, you know? Really interesting stuff. This is probably my favorite story in the game, just because it really shows us what... It shows us that whole Dr. Eggman roboticizing animals, making them machines, and this is their life now. And this is why Eggman is bad and why Sonic has to stop him, you know? Really engaging stuff, really fun. I love Gamma's storyline. And yeah, we got deep. But the reason I'm talking over this theme, honestly, we've heard Gamma's theme constantly in the cutscenes. It does not have any vocals. Sorry if you wanted to hear the full theme in detail, but really it's the same song either way. And, yeah. As for Gamma's playthrough, I love his playstyle, and this playstyle does return in Sonic Adventure 2, and I have no problems with that. In fact, there are so many more levels, not just the 5, and I know a lot of people do have a problem with it because of the way the story structure is set up in Sonic Adventure 2, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Either way, I don't find Gamma's ending sad. I found it uplifting because he was freed, he was reunited with his family, and all is well. Anywho, folks, that's the final video of Sonic Adventure. This is it. We're done. That was the last playthrough. So, thanks for sticking around for the 27 videos that, Supersonic? Wait, we're not done? Folks, when you defeat every playthrough in the game, you unlock one final playthrough. Get ready for the end, folks. We're heading on to the final playthrough of Sonic Adventure. It's much shorter than the other ones. This is the true ending of the game, so we're coming close to it. It's going to be great. See you in part 28.